Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about in terms of the streams, in terms of the YouTube video, and so on and so forth. This is going to be a discussion, right? And you guys know I love having discussions about this game. It's like literally my thing. About stuff that needs to be nerfed or patched in FIFA, so on and so forth, because every time a new patch comes out, there's always this thing where, you know, people come to the streams or people come to the YouTube videos and they'll make comments saying, oh, this needs to be nerfed, this needs to be patched, this needs to be nerfed, this needs to be patched. I wanted to have this discussion because I feel like people really need to listen to this when it comes to people saying some of the things they do. And it's not necessarily negative. It's just my point of view in regards to all this, right? There's certain things that when people say that need to be nerfed or patched, they can't do it in the current state of FIFA, okay? So for instance, I'll give you guys an example, right? As you guys know, finishing in FIFA most of the time isn't very good. It's pretty garbage, to be honest, right? But the thing that people need to understand is that finishing is only terrible when your game doesn't feel good, which is most of the times. So because your game probably doesn't feel good most of the times, although you can still win in it, it can't be your sole excuse why you lose matches, right? Because there's still people that can hit Division 1, still people that can get minimum gold 1 in FUT champs, so on and so forth, right? In FIFA, right, certain things in terms of being patches or being patched or certain things being nerfed is really, really down to the core issue of this game. And I'm gonna religiously speak about this until the day I die because they have to fix it. That's the main problem, is the inconsistent gameplay part, okay? If we're going to be talking about FIFA in a general sense, right, it sucks because the gameplay feels slow and sluggish most of the times. It might not be like that for everybody because there's definitely a huge possibility of that. But for me, in my personal experience, every time I play this game, it's mostly like that, right? Switching in the game doesn't need to be patched, or it doesn't need to be buffed, or whatever it is. It doesn't need to be fixed. You know why? Because when the game feels good, the switching is perfectly fine. Right? The one suggestion, wow, that I would make in regards to switching in FIFA is, you know how when you're second man pressing, right, you could see your secondary man pressing towards a person and the analog is on top of their head? EA should make it so that when you press the bumper or L1 to switch in that way, you know exactly who it's going to switch to. And it should always be the person closest to the ball, right? Because the right stick is the one that should be the one that's most responsive for you to move in different areas of the pitch. For instance, if you see a run being made in the left back position, you should be able to switch really quickly to the left back and be able to block that run because the switching is good, right? In FIFA right now, I thought they would have already done that, right? I thought that when the cursor would be on top of the person's head and you press L1 or LB to switch to that person without using the right stick, it would switch to the guy with the cursor. But it doesn't do that. So I do think that EA should implement that system where when the cursor is on top of the player closest to the ball and you press LB, at least you know who it's going to switch to, right? And you could keep spamming LB if it goes to different players, so on and so forth, right? But it'll always be around that general area, right? But switching doesn't need to be fixed, guys. In good gameplay, the switching is really nice. It's very, very smooth. I've even played sometimes in head-to-head where I was using Juventus and I was using the right stick, the LB switching, and it was beautiful. Everything was coming off perfectly. So that is a gameplay thing, okay? I just need to... I need to go back and forth with you guys in terms of the things you guys think that need to be buffed, nerfed, or patched, or whatever it is, right? Defensive AI. Defensive AI is a really, really big discussion right now, especially because of this patch with people pretty much just playing defensively the whole game and just hoping to get maybe that 1 or 2 goals into the back of the net from whatever opportunity they create, whether it's a far post cross or driven finesse shot where you cut inside, whatever. Here's the thing with defensive AI. So one of the things with defensive AI is the switching. You already got past that, right? But the other things with the defensive AI, right? You can't just make defensive AI manual. You have to add certain mechanics to defenders when you make them manual. You can't just switch from auto to manual because there's certain mechanics that need to be improved, right? For instance, when FIFA 18 pre-patch came out, when I played that game, you guys know that I look at the game from an unbiased point of view. There was like 3 or 4 things that they could have done to that game to make it good. And anybody that watched my content when I streamed during that time, you can even watch my, you can even go see my old tweets of people saying, "I'm glad that you are enjoying the game now." FIFA 18 pre-patch, I liked it because there was so much potential. I was like, okay, if they patch certain things in the game, this game's gonna be good. Even though the gameplay was still inconsistent, when the gameplay felt bad, it was still fun to play. And that's right now, that's the balance we need to find, because EA have never fixed that core issue yet, and that hopefully they do for next year's game, because I know that they won't do it for this year's game, right? And they probably won't do it for next year either, but who knows? Who knows, right? With defensive AI, do I want it to be more manual oriented? Absolutely, 100%. But you have to understand, right, that you have to change. Your switching needs to be good all the time. You cannot change defensive AI right now because your gameplay is always inconsistent. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Because the gameplay is always inconsistent, you cannot change that yet. Because if the switching is awful, right, and then you make the defending manual, it's going to be even worse, right? People need to understand this. It's very, very important. So the switching needs to be better. The acceleration of the defenders, once you select them, needs to be better. Because it's manual defending now. So it's about a prediction game now. It's about left and right, or stay in the center. You're out-predicting your opponent. If you want to overcommit to get the tackle, you overcommit, but the person could go in the opposite direction, right? So the acceleration and general transitioning between going left and right needs to be improved, but not as good as the attackers, because obviously attackers are always going to have a little bit of an advantage because they're attacking. They're the ones that know what they want to do, where you as a defender, you have to predict what a person wants to do, okay? Do I hate defensive AI right now? Yeah, absolutely. I hate when people get bailed out by the defensive AI and then they score these random crosses and deflections against me. I hate it. It's 100% a thing. But you can't just say, right, to nerf defensive AI because there's so much other things you need to improve. There's so many other things, right? So that's one as well. The finishing in FIFA. This is the balance, because some people look at this, some people watch the videos and they see that it might be biased from a certain point of view, right? Here's how the finishing needs to work in FIFA. And this is very, very important, okay? You need to have a balance of everything in the game. Let's just say, for instance, you have your same exact shooting mechanics right now. If that was the case, then making your defense manual is a mandatory thing because the shooting is inconsistent. But because the shooting is inconsistent, you'll still have a lot of opportunities to get past someone's defense because it's manual defending, not defensive AI, right? That's going to be blocking and saving their lives. But because defensive AI is so effective and pretty much everybody's parking the bus, congesting that midfield as much as possible, right? You have to make finishing better. It's not even... I had a discussion on my Twitch channel. Twitch people like to watch FIFA, right? That's why they defend the game more often than people on YouTube do. But when it comes to finishing, if your defensive AI is effective, your finishing, especially from this angle, these angles right here, need to be going in most of the times because you added defensive AI to be effective. If your shooting is less consistent, but you can get past the defense more easily because a person actually has to use their players, that's a different scenario, right? That's the balance, right? Goalies, in terms of goalie saves. Again, if you want to make a goalie effective in certain situations, so be it. But defense has to be manual, right? That's the type of balance that EA needs to find. And I shouldn't be explaining this because this concept, right? I'm not going to say it never existed because I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? I liked every FIFA, except for maybe 14 because of those headers, right? But FIFA 12, 13, 14, FIFA 12, 13, 15, 16, those 4 FIFAs, more 15 and 16, but 16, you know, when the gameplay was good, I liked all those FIFAs, right? I liked all those FIFAs when the gameplay was good because mechanics change, okay? Let's talk about some other things. Dribbling. People say that dribbling needs to be more responsive. Guys, like I said, in good gameplay, the dribbling is beautiful. Okay, you feel like there's more players that are more usable. You can use the small players that are agile. You can use the tall players that aren't, and their physical attributes will help them. The small players with the small agility will help them because of the dribbling, but they won't have the physical. It's a very nice balance, right? So that is also fixed with dribbling. Passing, I haven't noticed the passing too much, right, with good gameplay and bad gameplay. It's very hard to tell because I very rarely get good gameplay, okay? Very rarely. So with the passing, I'm not going to judge that right now, okay? What else is there? Manual goalkeeping. I think we're all in an agreement that, well, not all, but I think most are in agreement that manual goalkeeping should not be a thing, right? Especially, and this is the one balance thing that I didn't talk about, right? You cannot have defensive AI to be effective, goalies to be effective, goalies to be able to move with inaccurate 1v1 finishes. That doesn't make sense. You shoot it across goal, he can miss the entire target. You shoot it across goal from a driven shot, he can miss the entire target. You could do a driven finesse shot, and the player will decide to maybe not do a great job, even though it's the most consistent way to score right now, right? So, manual goalkeeping needs to go, okay? Because if defensive AI is manual and you have a little bit of manual goalkeeping, but the finishing is accurate, you got a balanced game. See the things that I'm talking about here, guys? It's not a matter of like what should be patched, what should be nerfed. It's what makes sense for them to fix. You can't fix switching because the switching is good hidden in the game, right? But it's good hidden in the game. When it's good, it's good. Again, they have to fix that core issue to fix most of the things that you guys complain about and the stuff that I complain about, right? The dribbling, that's different in good gameplay too. Players like Messi, Hazard, these guys dribble like this. Neymar is so delicious in good gameplay. Oh my god, okay? And Messi, because his center of gravity is so low because he's a small player, boom, 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 everywhere. And it's good because the defense, here's the other thing, acceleration, transitioning left and right with the players, defending wise, selecting them with the right stick is smooth and responsive, right? Compared to what the attacker is doing, right? There's so many different variables to look at when you're gonna patch, nerf, or buff certain things in gameplay. The finesse shots had to go, okay? They had to go. They're not impossible to score because you could score them in real life, right? It's not impossible. Some people have hit the post against me, and one guy scored one time against me. They're not impossible to score, right? And they shouldn't be because you could score finesse shots in real life, right? But in a video game concept, right, it's very nice that they're forcing as much as possible the breaking down part, right? Although the crosses, those far post crosses are just, you know? But these are very important points, guys, in regards to what you think should be nerfed, patched, whatever. Is the game a little bit boring now? A little bit, because defense, I don't like the park the bus versus park the bus. I will admit to that. I don't. But you just have to remember that there are other things that EA needs to fix before they patch, nerf, and fix certain things in their game. It's very, very important that people understand that, okay? Because you can't force this narrative of you have to fix this. The finesse shots, yes, 100% had to get the fuck out of here, okay? Because it was the dumbest shit ever. Okay, in that regard, we're going in on the right path, right? And I think that this patch is better than what we had before because the finesse shots were stupid, okay? But it doesn't make the game good right now because there's still work to be done on it, and it sucks because it's been like 4 or 5 months. I know some of the comment section is gonna be saying that. I get it, guys. You're right? But especially in the future FIFAs, if they don't get what makes a game balanced by then, I'm not going to know what to say anymore. Okay? I'm not going to know what to say anymore because there's been so much data collection in regards to what makes sense and what doesn't that if they screwed up again, it's not going to make any sense. Okay? That's pretty much it. One thing I wanted to let you guys know is the podcast. I know some of you guys have been asking about the podcast. We're going to be doing that with Spencer, Huge Gorilla. next week on Monday or Tuesday, one or the other. I don't know when the upload's going to happen, but it's going to be sometime next week. I'm sure you want to talk to me about the current state of competitive FIFA, because apparently EA being EA, you know, the tournaments that they are going to have is the patch from before with the finesse shots. And the tournaments are like 2 weeks away from now, some shit like that. Just talking about it hurts my head. But we're gonna have that podcast discussion. And next up, I'm gonna be talking about is I haven't played some draft games in regards to what formations I think work, what formations I don't think work. We're gonna be talking about the tactics formations that I have been using for different formations, because I do feel like the game is not necessarily forcing you to use 4-2-3-1 now, where it really felt like you had to before. I have been using different formations and they've been working in their own ways. So I'll definitely be looking into that for a YouTube series as well if you guys are interested in using different types of formations. So I'll catch you guys in the video next time. Peace out, my dudes. Love you guys.